They called him Hudavendigar, the sovereign who brought order. Son of Orhan, grandson of Osman, Murad I did not simply inherit a frontier beylik. He shaped a functioning state and marched it into history. Murad was trained early schooled by the veteran statesman Lala Kahin Pasha, appointed young as Sonjak Bey of Bursa, and tempered under his elder brother Suleiman Pasha in Rumelia. When Suleiman died in 1359, fate turned. Murad became heir and, with Orhan's passing a year later, Sultan. From his first days, he faced the hard truth of Ottoman politics. Power, by old Turkic custom, was the common property of the dynasty. Princes Ibrahim and Halil rose against him. Murad quelled the first Khazid rebellions in Ottoman history, not for vengeance, but to prevent civil war from ruining what Osman and Orhan had built. Then he turned to the map. Edirne stood as the second city of Byzantium and the key to the Balkans. In 1363, after the clash at Sazladir, the gates opened. Murad made a strategic decision that would define a century. The capital shifted from Asia to Europe. In Edirne, he gathered the machinery of rule divan, officials and jurists, military cadres and academies, courts and pious foundations, placing the state's heart beside the theater of war. With Edirne secured, the lines of advance spread like spokes. Kirklareli to the Black Sea, Stara Zagora, Plovdiv, and Komotini, wrenching Byzantine and Bulgarian corridors apart. Drama, Kavala, Bitola Mazdoniopen. The people of Rumelia, wearied by local tyrannies and reassured by the Ottomans' guarantees of life and property through Ahidnames, often preferred this new order to the old. Even the Greek patriarch would later praise Murad's tolerance toward the Orthodox in a letter to Rome, but success invites coalition. Pope Urban V urged a crusade. Hungarians, Serbs, Bosnians, Wallachians and Venetian intrigue coalesced. In 1364, near Edirne, an Ottoman reconnaissance force under Hochi Ilbi struck the Allied camp at night. Srpsındığı, rout of the Serbs, became legend. Princes fleeing, many drowning in the Maritsa. The road through Thrace and Macedonia widened. Murad did not rule only with the sword. He built, in Yenisehir, Bursa, and Edirne rose mosques, imarets, madrasas, hospices, and inns. Bursa, in his time, grew into a vibrant scientific and cultural city of the Islamic world, and he organized. In 1361, he established the office of kazasker, the chief judge over judges rooting justice and education in a single, disciplined hierarchy. With Kandal Kara, Halil and Kara Rustam, he approved the pençik system, 1/5 of war captives selected and trained for service. From this seed grew the professional Kapikulu cause and a merit-based bureaucracy institution strong enough to outlive sultans. Victories carried costs and choices. In 1371, at Kerman on the Maritsa, another allied Balkan army was beaten. Macedonian gates opened wider. In the same era, Murad solidified Anatolian ties. Ezaji Bayezid's marriage, the Mianid princess brought Kutaya and its towns as dowry. Cities of the Hamidids were bought peacefully. The Esfendiarids recognized Ottoman suzerainty. Diplomacy and purchase served where blood need not. But not all neighbors learned. Ali Bey of Karaman, Murad's own brother-in-law, raided Ottoman lands while the Sultan fought in the Balkans. Murad returned in 1386 and dispersed the Karamanid force. Bayezid, Swift and decisive in the action, earned the name Yıldırım, Thunderbolt. Ali Bey threw himself at Murad's feet. The Sultan pardoned him and sealed peace by Martyrdom lesson, then be merci. The Balkans continued to turn. Ragusa accepted Ottoman suzerainty and became the empire's cannon-casting hub. Sofia, Niš, Ohrid, Prilep, Škoda city after city shifted the balance. When Serbian hopes flickered, they sought a moment at Plosnik. An Ottoman column was mauled, and Europe exulted. Plans formed to sweep the Ottomans from the Balkans. Murad answered with preparation. He ordered Ali Pasha to subdue Bulgaria and assembled his forces on the Kosovo plain. On the eve of battle, chronicles say, the Sultan prayed in his tent with a simple petition, O Allah, sacrifice me, for these Muslims only, do not let them be routed at the hands of the enemy. At dawn, the standards lifted. Kosovo, 1389, 8 hours of attrition and charge. Serbian Prince Lazar fell. The allied host broke. For the first time in Ottoman history, cannon joined the field. On the wings, Bayezid carved openings. The center pressed. When the dust settled, Omens Premsbolk was non-gritoire fact. And then came the moment that fixed Murad's epithet for all time. As the Sultan walked the field, offering prayers for the fallen and comfort to the wounded, a wounded Serbian, Knight Milak, Obila crows from the corpses, requested an audience as if to embrace Islam, and in a flash drew a hidden dagger. The blow struck true. Guards cut him down, but the deed was done. Murad, Hudavendiga organizer, builder, conqueror was martyred on the field of his greatest victory. He became the only Ottoman Sultan to die as a shahid in battle. His last counsel matched his life: obey Bayezid, harm not the prisoners. Follow the Sunnah even in victory. His body was carried to Bursa, to the mosque he endowed. His inner organs interred near the site of his martyrdom. The place remains a symbol of Ottoman resolve in Rumelia and of a sovereign who understood rule as trust. Murad's legacy is measured in institutions as much as in miles. He inherited roughly 95,000 square kilometers. Within 3 decades he left nearly 500,000, a fivefold growth without a single catastrophic defeat. He recentered the empire in Edirne to face its destiny. He regularized law and learning. He professionalized army and court. He proved that an empire is not only taken, but tended day by day, office by office, judgment by judgment. Contemporaries across borders recognized it. Byzantine historian Chalkokondyles wrote of a ruler brave and tireless, careful in counsel, kind to subjects regardless of creed. Romanian and Slavic historians emphasized his tolerance and fidelity to promises. French scholars later called him an almost innate ruler, unmatched among his European peers. And the British historian Gibbon would frame the Ottoman rise in 3 strokes. Osman gathered a nation, Orhan made a state. Murad established the empire. In the end, the prayer he whispered before Kosovo reads like a thesis on kingship, that victory belongs to God. That a ruler's life, even a sultan's, is a trust to be spent for the community. That order and justice, raised from schools and courts and sober administration, are the true walls of an empire. Murad, the first fell at Kosovo, but the order he built stood. Bayezid would inherit not only a throne and a frontier, but a system one capable of staggering triumphs and, for centuries, of recovery after loss. That is why history remembers him not only as the conqueror who died a martyr, but as the organizer Hardavendiga, the sovereign who turned a rising banner into a functioning realm.